Let's go YouTube, it's your girl Bangani again, unstoppable and unbreakable girl BK. You know guys, you know. So for today's video, we'll be doing okay, I think we're gonna start with my parents disowned me because of my YouTube channel. Okay, so let's see how they disown their children because of YouTube. Okay, let's just hop into the video and see what's going on. Okay, let's see.
Hi everyone, I'm Fiona. My parents disowned me because of my YouTube channel.
Just imagine your parents disowning you just
They
because
said,
of your
"You're
channel.
no longer our daughter, so you can't live in our house."
Wow, that's a nice cake.
They basically kind of kicked me out.
They kicked you out.
How did it come to this? What did I do to make them so upset?
Yeah,
I'll tell you
what
the
did
whole
you
story.
do?
First of all, I have to say that my parents are super weird.
Okay.
I'm not exaggerating. Here are some examples of what they used to do. Our kitchen would close at 8 p.m.
What?
Literally closed, as if it were a store.
Wow.
At 8 o'clock,
Closing
my
the
dad would lock the
kitchen.
door and take away the key.
My mom would never
My
do
mom
that.
would announce,
She knows
if
that we
anyone
love
needs water, you have
food.
5 minutes to get
Like, you
it
don't
before he'd lock it.
even water. You have
That
to just
happened
buy a
every
little fridge
day.
for yourself,
So
put
I
it in
thought
your
it was
room so that you
normal.
can
One day
snack
I was
when
at a
they're
friend's house
asleep.
for a pajama
Okay,
party.
that's
Just
what you
before
need
we
to
went
do,
to bed,
girl.
my friend said, "My mom left us milk and cookies. Let's go to the kitchen." I was so surprised and I naively asked, "Is your kitchen open so late?"
Even.
I'm not into video games, so this other rule in our house was mainly for my brother Craig. He wasn't allowed to play Pokemon games. You know why? Both of my parents are very religious. My dad read somewhere that Pokemon can evolve. As a religious man, he didn't believe in evolution. He thought that the evolution of Pokemon supported the theory of evolution, so my brother wasn't allowed to play
These parents are
Pokemon.
really weird, guys.
And because of my
Like,
mom's
I don't
beliefs, we
understand.
weren't allowed to watch Harry Potter films or read its
Wow.
books.
Wow.
Because according to her, the series promoted sorcery.
This is like,
Since
you don't have
sorcery
to
is
treat your
considered a
children
sin,
like
we had to stay
that.
away from Harry Potter films and books. Those are just two of the things we weren't allowed to do.
Okay.
Let me tell you about their ridiculous punishments, which really put their weirdness on display.
Okay.
One time, my brother forgot to flush the toilet after pooping.
Mm.
When my mom saw it, she called him over. "You are going to stand here and look at your poop," she said. She kept coming to check that he was really looking. My brother had to stare at his poop
You
for
have
40
to stare
minutes.
at your
Finally,
poop.
my mom yelled from the kitchen, "Flush it!" And he did.
Guys, my listening is so
Later that day,
bad.
poor
Like,
Craig told me, "No matter where I look, I still see my poop." I laughed at the time, but looking back on it, I think it was pretty sad. Now here's one of my dad's weird punishments.
Okay.
Whenever I got a bad grade at school, he would make me call all our relatives and tell them what I got. He'd stand next to me the whole time. For example, he'd call my grandma and hand me the phone. First, I'd say which class it was, and then the grade I got.
Wow.
He'd say, "Apologize to your grandmother for being a disgrace to the family."
That's not good.
So I would
you don't
apologize.
Have to treat your children
This
like
was more
this.
upsetting for my grandmother
No.
than for me.
Oh, wow.
In addition to the weird ones, he also had some harsh punishments. Normal parents usually tell their kids, "You can't leave your room today."
Yes.
With us, it was, "You can't come down from the apple tree today." You heard it right. We had to climb a tree and stay there for hours as punishment.
Wow.
We had an apple tree in our backyard. That's the one we had to climb. For example, cursing would be punished with the tree. The amount of time we spent in the tree depended on the curse word. You know what the saddest part is? When you grow up in a home like this, you think this is normal. You
Yeah.
think this kind of stuff happens in every home. When I was 13 or 14, I started learning more about my friends' families' lives, and I realized that ours was not normal at all.
Damn. She's
This
even
awareness
crying
made things
because
difficult for both me and my
their
parents.
parent is so weird.
I no
Weird
longer
parents.
accepted everything they said. So we'd fight all the time. They thought I
Yes,
was just
girl.
acting out because I was now a
Viva.
teenager.
Do that
But I
again.
kept telling them that
Fight
they
with your
weren't
parents
normal.
because they're not
And they
treating
needed
you well.
therapy every
No, guys,
chance I
don't do
got.
that. If
I felt
you're
like a
watching
volcano
this,
that was ready to
under the
erupt.
age of 17,
There was no
don't do
avoiding
that.
it.
Don't argue
I
with
had to
your
get rid of the
parents.
lava building up inside me. Otherwise, it was going to harm me. During that period, I realized that sharing was a sort of therapy for me. I felt better when I talked to my friends, but there were some things I couldn't tell them. I'd gone through such terrible things that I was worried they would judge me, even though none of it was my fault. The solution was right in front of me. I decided to create a YouTube channel. I wasn't going to show my face or tell anyone about it, including my brother. That way, I would be able to share everything anonymously.
Okay.
Where do you think I shot my first video? Sitting in the apple tree.
Wow.
I set up the phone's camera so it would only show the apples. I pressed record and started talking about this apple tree's role in my life. I let it all come out. It's weird, but I didn't cry at all. I just talked. Then I uploaded the 1.5-hour video to my YouTube channel, which I called The Girl in the Tree. That night, I felt completely relaxed and slept like a baby.
Yeah, I was gonna do that.
The volcano inside me now had an outlet. After the first 10 days, the amount of views on my video started to go up. I remember the first comment very clearly. Did you really experience this? Or are you just making things up?
Wow.
A few hours later, I got a second comment, which said, please show us your face.
Okay.
I continued uploading 2 videos per week. I got over 1,000 subscribers. The 7 videos I uploaded had a total of 9,000 views.
subscribers in a week.
As my emotional scars were being healed, something really unexpected happened. My brother accidentally came across my channel. He texted me right away, but I was on my way to a friend's house to work on a school project. So I didn't see my messages. Craig's dream was to be a YouTuber, and he thought that I made this channel to become one as well. He was so happy when he saw the number of views and subscribers. He was proud of me and immediately went to show our mom. When I came home, my parents were livid. Craig realized what he had done, but it was too late. My mom kept saying, "How dare you talk about our private lives online?" My dad said, "I didn't expect this from you. We've given you everything, and you stab us in the back." But the thing is, I hadn't exposed anyone.
Yeah.
I had only told things from my perspective without saying anything bad about my mom or dad.
About your parents. You didn't say anything.
I just described what happened, and since it was my experience, I had the right to talk about it.
Go, girl.
They sent me to my room. I heard them have a heated discussion. But I didn't want to know what they were saying, so I didn't listen. 3 hours went by. I was getting ready for bed when my mom called me. My dad said, "There is no way we can forgive you. We worked so hard to raise you, and this is what we get in return.
Guys.
No punishment would be enough for what you've done. So your mom and I have made a really tough decision. We are disowning you. We can't possibly call you our daughter after this." Disowning? I was completely shocked. I kept listening, but it was like I was living in a dream. I looked at my mom, who was in tears, looking down. I wanted her to say something, so I said, "Mom?" But she didn't look at me. She just shook her head. I knew how stubborn they are, and that arguing with them would be pointless. I've never seen my dad change his mind about anything. I didn't deserve this, but there was nothing I could do. I wanted to cry, but I stopped myself. I didn't want them to see me as weak. So what happens now, I asked. "Since you're disowning me, I guess you don't want me staying in this house anymore." My dad nodded. "We're giving you a week to find yourself a place to stay." I could understand their disappointment, but wasn't this reaction a bit over the top? Disowning and even throwing me out of the house? They had 2 children, but it looks like they were okay with losing one. Why was I surprised anyway? My parents' main issue was their inability to be compassionate towards us. I've already told you how they punished us for small stuff. I guess it was normal for them to overreact like this under the circumstances. Now that I was kicked out of the house, I had to find a place to stay. Being a high school student, I didn't have many options.
Yeah.
Of course, I went to my grandmother. My parents probably knew that's what I would end up doing. Even though my dad is my grandmother's favorite son, she criticizes him all the time. When she found out what happened, she called him over. "Fiona is just a kid. How can you throw her out of the
She's
house?
just a kid.
She will live with me from now on.
Yeah.
And
Once
I am disowning you
grandmother.
too. Throw Craig out as well. I'll take care of both of them. My dad listened without saying anything. Then he just left. I've been living with my grandmother for 5 months now. I wish they had kicked me out earlier because I feel so good here. Craig stays over a lot. He says that my mom cries all the time because she misses me. I'm not unforgiving like her. I'd go see her right away if she called, but I don't think I'll ever live in that house again. I was really sad about having to delete my channel, but then I stopped caring because it had served its purpose. It helped me share all that was building up inside of me, right? Thanks for listening to me. If you like stories based on real events, subscribe to this channel. Bye.
Okay guys, as you saw, some other parents disown their children because of YouTube. Okay, so my advice is tell your parents if you are looking forward on doing YouTube. Tell your friend if you wanna. Tell your family if you wanna be a YouTuber, so that they don't disown you. Okay, but I don't feel this was necessary, like kicking your daughter out just because of YouTube. No, that's not good. Don't do that. Okay, so if you love this type of content, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and please don't forget to turn on the notification bell and subscribe. It's free. You don't need to buy it. It's free. Okay guys, it's free. Peace.